is preparing to live stream. It's doing its little meter thing, setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. So breathe. Here we go. It's preparing to live stream. It's doing its little meter thing, setting up your meeting for. So we are live. You can get started. So all of that it did. I should just not talk while it's doing that. All right, go for it, team.
Hello, my name is Nayeli Hernandez. I am an incoming senior at Warren High School this year, and the deep dive that I chose was digital marketing. I can share my screen now.
Yes.
Cool. So the platform I've decided to use today is Adobe Spark, which is something that I learned about through this internship. And I thought it was really cool because it was basically like creating your own website. It was really fun. So the title of my website is A More Professional Me, my experience in a digital marketing internship. So the DUSD Made internship has given me the opportunity to be a part of something revolutionary, the digital marketing deep dive, and it's paid. So I thought that was really cool. I not only gained a greater understanding of what it meant to work with social media like LinkedIn, for example, which I will get into in a bit. But I was given the opportunity to work with such an inspirational person, Dr. I, and she is the CEO of Classroom Without Walls. I have learned so much from her, and I am so thankful for this experience. One thing that we were able to do while in this internship was go on a live stream with Dr. I, and I thought that was so cool. It was so fun. It was a little nerve-wracking, but that's okay because another thing we learned in this internship is to do things that make you nervous, do things that make you uncomfortable, that make you go out of your comfort zone. So as I talked about before, one of the social media platforms that we went through or learned more about was LinkedIn. And I like you to brace yourselves because before I learned about anything on LinkedIn, my profile was very much so bland. It had nothing on it. I had no connections. Like I said, it was a little rough. But after working a little of Dr. I's magic, I was able to learn that adding a background makes you seem so much more interested in that you pay more attention on LinkedIn, that you focus more, and that you would like people to pay attention to your profile. So I decided to do a quote, and I thought that people might pay attention to that. I was able to add a voice feature. So overall, I just learned so much about the little things. It was the little things that counted. Like I said, I've learned so much about this internship that I would have never learned in a traditional classroom. So I'm very much so grateful for this experience and for having had Dr. I as a mentor. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Tom, and I'm an incoming senior at Downey. And the internship I chose was also digital marketing. Uh, some things, well, during this internship, I had the honor and pleasure of working with Dr. I, who is a CEO of Classroom Without Walls, which is a program that seeks, or a company that seeks to reinnovate the traditional formal education. She taught us a multitude of things, including live streaming skills as well as interviewing skills and LinkedIn. So, as Nayeli said, that Dr. I taught us about how to have an optimized LinkedIn profile. And like Nayeli, my LinkedIn profile was very much bland, with little to nothing on there, as you can see. But after, like Nayeli said, after Dr. I worked her social media magic, I was able to turn my bland LinkedIn profile into something that had more engagement, had my aspirations as well as my social proof, which was something that Dr. I stressed was very important in today's show me economy instead of tell me economy. We also got the chance to live stream and interview career professionals. And I actually had the opportunity to interview two people, one of which was a doctor, a physician. Her name was Wilnice Jasmine, and the other was a musician. His name is Matt Howie. And to say the least, both of these experiences were very nerve-wracking because it was my second and third time live streaming because our first time live streaming was with Dr. I, and that was even more nerve-wracking. But to say the least, I think this experience was very fun and it was a learning experience for all of us. Some major takeaways this internship has provided me is that you need social proof in order to make yourself more credible. And it also has taught me interview skills as well as live streaming skills. And I think these skills are very important in today's professional career. Thank you. And I'd like to thank June as well as Dr. I for giving us interns an opportunity to work and gain experience from this.
Hi guys, so as the two previous interns, I also chose the digital marketing deep dive here at Bea Group, and my experience in it has been amazing so far. So as we can see over here, I am going to explain the experience that I had on the digital marketing deep dive. And to begin with, the first thing that we did was creating an online professional presence, which is something that they definitely do not teach at the school, but is extremely important in order to grow as a professional in nowadays economy. One of the first things that we did was creating a professional LinkedIn profile, and which I will talk a little bit more going forward, and engaging with more people, becoming more credible to job recruiters and people like this in LinkedIn and other social media platforms as well. Connecting with professionals or networking was something that we also discussed, and I learned how to do it through LinkedIn by connecting with people, but also through many other social media platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc. And that was a completely new experience, however, very necessary. Searching for content ideas on the internet was also something that we learned, and something that I believe that would help me and anyone develop a business or become more attractive to any job recruiters that you want to impress in the first time that you go meet with them. Also improving my confidence, we have done a lot of filming, creating social media content, etc. And I was very camera shy at first. However, as I go forward and I learn how to write, how to make descriptions, how to film the videos, what lighting should look like, I feel like a lot more confident of what I should do, rather than at the beginning when I was barely starting and I didn't even know where to post it, to post what. I also interviewed professionals on YouTube, which was a great wow to me. I never thought that you could interview a professional person on YouTube. YouTube was always considered by me and all my friends as something that is for entertainment, never for something as professionals interviewing someone who has a degree or has a business or something like that. For example, here we have our first interview with Dr. I, where that lasted about 47 minutes. That was our first experience, was amazing. Then I had the privilege to interview Dr. I about becoming an entrepreneur, what is needed and how it could be hard at the beginning. And lastly, I interviewed Lance Scholar about worldwide physical items trading, which was amazing. We discussed risks, etc. This was not only a great experience for meeting Lance, but also because I learned a lot of things that I never thought that even existed. Going forward with LinkedIn, here we have a picture of what my LinkedIn look at first, and just the overall view. You can see that I have a lot more of connections, a lot of followers. Overall, a nice LinkedIn profile that I think any professional would like more than the one that I had at first. Overall, my experience in Baya Group and this deep dive for digital marketing working with Dr. I has been amazing. I have enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot about becoming a professional on the internet, not only as in the social media platforms, but also the basic things such as sending a professional email, like what the structure should look like, how when to send people these requests, how to find these people, a social media or digital signature, which is something that I never even thought was a thing, but it is, and it's very important to appeal to people as responsible. And I also got to meet a lot of interns who have similar goals and aspirations as me, and a lot of professionals that will definitely be a great help in the future. And that's it.
Well, hello. My name is Philip Ernest, and like all these other interns, I also chose digital marketing as my deep dive. I actually chose two platforms to do my presentation in. One was Canva, and the other one being Adobe Spark as well. So, um, working in the digital marketing deep dive, I had the chance to work with LinkedIn, live interview sessions, and more as soon as I talk about it. So why is digital marketing important and digital networking important? One thing I realized when coming into this digital marketing deep dive was that you create skills when networking with other people. You create communication skills, you create creativity skills, and also I think that's more vital is problem solving skills. You also learn to be proactive and learn to create with amazing future. And let's face it, digital marketing is the future. Since everything is going digital, the only way to connect with a lot of people is to network through the internet. So one thing that really opened my eyes at first was working with Dr. I. The first activity she had us do is Google ourselves. And when we Google ourselves, we would see our online presence. And the first time I Googled myself, I was the second option, but that's because I had a LinkedIn profile beforehand, but I wasn't the first option. And why is this important? I think it's important to have an online presence because it creates credibility within yourselves. It creates credibility of what you have done, what you have accomplished, and people know who you are through the internet. It also helps future employers or people that are going to work with you in the future know who you are beforehand. So after the digital marketing deep dive, I Googled myself again, and I was actually one of the top 2 to 3 options for every time I Googled myself. So that was really impressive for me, being the top Google search for my name. The next activity we worked on in the deep dive was optimizing LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an online platform that connects the world of professionals. And basically, a LinkedIn profile can summarize your professional career, such as your achievements, milestones, and experience, and so forth. But what makes a good LinkedIn? Usually, what makes a good LinkedIn is all of this. For the sake of time, I won't go through the list. But as you can see here, this is the first time I started my LinkedIn. I had a couple good pictures, but mostly because Dr. I told me at first to start. But I really didn't really take a screenshot of everything. But I did not have any of these voice features, none of these other sections that really optimized my LinkedIn. Yeah, after the digital marketing um, deep dive, my LinkedIn was nearly all optimized. I nearly had everything on the list except for recommendations. I'm still working on that. I started connecting with a lot more people, and I actually posted my live streams that I had done with the interview and with Dr. I on my LinkedIn. This was it for this one. But I also have my other presentation on Adobe Spark. So here I'll talk about my live streaming experience. The first time I live streamed, I had the opportunity to interview Emily Burnett, who was actually a bright, inspiring aerospace engineer, such as myself. That's one of the reasons why I chose her, because I wanted to talk about her career and why she chose aerospace engineering. She She's also currently a co-design intern here at BIHA Group. She's currently studying at Harvey Mudd College to become an aerospace engineer, but with a focus of mechanical engineering. Here in this live streaming, I talked about with Emily her experience so far and why she chose to become an aerospace engineer. Honestly, the experience at first was really nerve-wracking, but I always remembered to what Dr. I told me to just basically start recording and everything will go fine. As soon as I started talking with Emily and how friendly she was, all my nervousness went away. I started talking to her good, and we started actually having deep conversations talking about space exploration and more. Since I sent a lot of requests to interview people, Brianna was actually someone else that hit me back up to go live. So I also interviewed her. She's also an advocate of aerospace engineering, which I really liked. In the future, she hopes to work with sustainable energies projects to help the environment, and she's currently studying at California Institute of Technology. It was really amazing talking to Brianna. And since this was my fourth time going live, my experience here was actually a little bit more better. I felt more professional, I felt more confident, and it actually inspired me to start my own podcast. So my podcast is called Grippy Pod. You guys go check it out. And what I learned so far from this whole interview was to get out of my comfort zone. And by getting out of my comfort zone, I was able to learn and open myself to skills such as networking skills, communication skills, and problem solving and more. I learned to be proactive. I learned to go live. I learned how to create professional email signatures. I learned to create and send Google calendars, and I developed networking skills on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And overall, I just developed skills that will benefit me in the future and my career. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that is incredible. I feel like almost I want to cry to see how much you guys have learned and what a great summary. I don't know how you feel, June. I'm like, oh my God, what an amazing opportunity for all of you. And yeah, indeed, a big thank you to June for making this possible for all of us, in this online space. I also have learned a lot from you. And also, I'm so happy to hear and see how much you guys have learned from me. Really incredible. So yeah, do you want to say something, June? I think that was pretty good.
This was great as a dry run, and I'm glad we're doing this so it's live. And I would encourage all of you to watch it. It's going to go up on the YouTube channel, and watch. It is what we would call game footage, and you can see what you liked about what happened today in the practice and what you would do differently. So I definitely do have some feedback we'll do after we turn off the live stream. And so, yeah, I think this is great for a dry run. High five, everyone. Woohoo! Yay! Thank you. So I'm going to turn off the live stream.